Thank you so much, Dean Collins, and to the entire Ford School community for the incredible honor of inviting me to address all of you on your special day. Thank you for welcoming me into the Ford School community last year. It was wonderful to be part of it, and it's wonderful to still feel like I'm part of the Ford School family. Most of you won't remember this, but 15 years ago, when the Ford School was still IPS, you invited me to give the commencement address. I was all of 30 years old, pregnant with my first child, wondering, frankly, what possessed you to invite someone who was less than a decade into her career when you could have had somebody famous. I did my best to impart what wisdom I had accrued, and some of the students from that class went on to become cherished colleagues and friends whose work I admire greatly. So here I am again, and I still don't know what you're thinking. You know that I'm not famous, right? When I was here on my sabbatical last year, I tried to make it clear I'm not really a student of public policy. I'm certainly not a theoretician. I wouldn't bet on my ability to pass the statistics and economics classes you all took. I engage in policymaking, though, from a particular vantage point, from within a civil rights and advocacy organization, representing a particular ethnic constituency, the largest minority in the country. And since you've done it again and asked me to impart whatever wisdom I've got on this great day, your day, I'll do my best. So I have thought and thought about what I've learned in the last 15 years that might be of value to you. And I'm happy to report that I did learn a thing or two, and some of it is actually kind of useful. But honestly, it's what I've learned in the 1 year since I left you that kept tugging at me as I prepared my remarks for today. I feel a lot of urgency about it because it's been quite a year. And the lessons that I'm still drawing from it say something about what it means to do this work, to be engaged in making and implementing public policy. So here goes. Cecilia's list of 5 lessons I've learned in the last year that might be useful to you as you begin this next phase of your journey. Lesson number 1. You know an awful lot, but it's what you don't know that may be even more important. Sorry. You are so well prepared to do this work that you've chosen. The Ford School does an amazing job of preparing you to assess, analyze, think critically, crunch the numbers, write, make the recommendations that can move the country forward in small ways and large ones. But the skill you may come to value the most is the one that allows you to look clearly at what you don't know and to use the tools you've been gathering to go about knowing it. A year ago, I gave a lecture in the Ford School about how and why we were going to move an immigration bill forward. I got back to DC in time for the bill to be debated and to die an ugly death on the Senate floor in a wave of phone calls generated by anti-immigrant groups that shut down the Capitol switchboard and seared the ears of more than one Senate receptionist. We, a broad coalition, had come together over nearly a decade to do the things you know how to do. Formulate a policy proposal, do the cost-benefit analysis, figure out how to talk about it, defend it against the counter-arguments, build bastions of bipartisan support, organize a campaign to get the 60 votes we needed. We had gotten 62 votes the previous year, so we thought we had everything in place to do it again. But the bottom fell out on us for a variety of reasons, and we're starting over. That means taking a clear look, not at what we knew how to do, but at what we didn't know how to do. What you don't know may be more important than what you do know, and the tools you take with you today are going to be very useful in helping you to know it. Lesson number 2, be ready to chart new territory and defy the conventional wisdom. Half the fun of being engaged in policymaking, especially in a state capital or in Washington, involves following political trends, analyzing the direction that things are going. There are times when everybody in town kind of knows what's going to happen. Some bill is going to pass, some other bill is going to die, and we policy wonks take great pleasure in knowing exactly what trajectory it's going to follow, and then showing everyone just how right we were when it happens, just as we said. Don't believe any of it. There was a time when conventional wisdom said that it would be impossible to pass a Civil Rights Act or a voting rights bill. There was a time when conventional wisdom said that women could not succeed in the workplace or academia, let alone in a race for Congress or, God forbid, the White House. Conventional wisdom just a few months ago said that John McCain couldn't possibly be the Republican nominee, in part because of his positions on issues that I work on. And until Iowa, conventional wisdom said that it was inconceivable that an African-American man could be a serious contender for the Democratic nomination. So much for conventional wisdom. Here's what the conventional wisdom indicated in my work a year ago when I left the Ford School. Stay focused on the public policy issues. Conventional wisdom said ignore the fact that Luke Dobbs, Fox News, and MSNBC are putting hate groups and extremists on the air. Don't talk about the hate mail, conventional wisdom says. The hate mail which has skyrocketed, by the way. The fact that the office now needs a security guard, and the fact that white supremacists keep showing up at rallies, sometimes with weapons. The attacks on my institution, complete with accusations that are completely ridiculous, come from extremists, the conventional wisdom says, and you shouldn't dignify them by responding publicly. Stay focused on the policy. So much for the conventional wisdom. The extremists won. A year ago, I was talking to legislators and going after votes and ignoring the fact that hate groups and vigilantes were going on the networks literally hundreds of times, mischaracterizing immigrants, Latinos, and the organization I work for. The networks describe them as immigration experts, kind of like inviting the KKK on the air for a discussion about civil rights. They don't teach you how to debate a vigilante on television in public policy school. So be ready to chart your territory and defy the conventional wisdom. Lesson number 3.